What is up, everybody? My name is Chris Murphy, and with me is Patrick Soukup. Patrick, why don't you tell everybody the elevator pitch for the Fort Collins Fellas and what they're going to see?
If you're coming to listen to the Fort Collins Fellas, you're coming to get all the information necessary and needed to live the best life possible in Fort Collins, Colorado. Let's go.
Patrick, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
I am doing good. It is crazy that we are already into November right now.
I know.
I know.
I can't believe it.
I know.
Well,
we've had such amazing fall the last 2 years that it just doesn't feel like, we're in the heart of fall, but we sure shit are.
Dude, I turned 42 on Friday. How about that? I'm an old man.
Is that why you guys were in Chicago?
That's why we're in Chicago. Yeah, there's a little baby moon.
Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, a little belated birthday, baby moon. So,
cool.
All right. So here we are. We're November, and we wanted to do a little show. We're going to talk about things to do in Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving weekend here in Fort Collins. So this episode will be coming out early November for everybody, and give you guys a chance to kind of put together a little to-do list. But we wanted to start off this week's episode. For those of you who lived in Fort Collins for a while, know how big this event has become and how kind of, I guess, known is better. It's been known all around the country, but the lighting ceremony in downtown Fort Collins. And so this happens every year, and it's a party. I mean, I went to it a couple of years ago, but they block off College Avenue, do this big countdown and everything like that. But one little stat I read about.
The entirety of downtown Fort Collins gets lit up. I mean, and we're talking like, I don't know how many blocks it is, but it's like 5 to 7 blocks of Christmas lights down College Avenue, then kind of offshoots like down Oak, down Mountain Avenue, and then all throughout the square. And these things are lit from, pretty much the first week of November.
November 4th. I think they do it every November.
This year's 4th. November 4th, but it's always like that first week because it's like November 1st, November 2nd. This year it's always on like that Friday, pretty much the first Friday of November, and lit up until Valentine's Day. And so not just after Christmas, like this, it just goes, but literally the entirety of really, winter.
I love that they keep it through into February. Seriously, it just makes it feel like a winter village.
It does. And like you said, a winter village, like it's a Hallmark card when you drive down College Avenue.
All right. So we got some fun stats about this little lighting ceremony as we were diving into this. This one just knocked me. This one was crazy. So I was like, how long has this ceremony been going on for? And the current setup, what you'll see on November 4th, has been going on since 2007. So about 15 years. But if you look into this, there's even a podcast out there from the Coloradoan. The earliest record of chamber-hosted downtown holiday lights I could find dates back to November of 1928, when colorful streamers and electric lights were blanketed in fresh snow the night before Thanksgiving, according to an article in the Fort Collins Express Courier. So this thing goes back to the 20s, which is kind of crazy.
Totally. And you were talking about the Chamber of Commerce putting this on. Chamber of Commerce is all about growing Fort Collins' business and dollars spent here. And it's funny, you said, that it cost, as of 2000, was it $1,715,000 to do the lights, or about 60 cents per citizen. But how many people come in from Wyoming, Kansas, Nebraska, Utah, all over the place, all over the country to see this and spend their dollars here in Fort Collins while they, spend a weekend exploring downtown Fort Collins. I don't care how much it costs at this point. It's worth it. It's freaking awesome.
It's definitely worth it. And for all you light nerds out there, there's about 70,000 LED lights that are twinkling for everybody during the holidays.
And when was that 70,000 number?
So I got this number. This was a couple years ago. Our crack research staff did not get us updated numbers, so I believe that.
The only reason I say that, because I bet you that number is like not doubled per se, but with the expansion of Linden Street and like all of these additional kind of offshoots that they've done like each year, that I feel like they, grow it each year, which, by the way, shocking, because like if I was putting up 70,000 lights, I would leave those things up year round. But they put up and take down, whether it's all of them or a substantial amount, the city of Fort Collins and their workers and their subcontractors are working pretty much the entire month of October, putting these lights up down and up and around College Avenue.
We should, when we have the mayor back on next year, season 2 for Collins Fellas, we'll have to ask her. I want to ask her more about that.
Yeah. I mean, I would leave those things up in a heartbeat. I managed Old Town Square for 10 years, and we had the red and green lights around the perimeter at the tops of the buildings, and we would leave those things up year round because, one, it's a pain in the ass, and then 2, it's a major liability. So we're like, let's just leave them and then replace them as needed. But
so did you manage that for the city, Old Town Square?
Well, so Old Town Square is the buildings in Old Town Square are privately owned, and we didn't put any lights up in the trees or the plaza, but on the buildings themselves, we put up all of the Christmas lights and kind of decorations, which they always do it right after. The goal for us was always to have them up kind of right before Thanksgiving. Gotcha. So we're kind of a month behind the city we were a month behind, but Fort Collins does it right. I mean,
they do.
It's cool. I mean, options for you to come, where you can go and watch it. You can go into Old Town Square, which is packed, get some hot chocolate. They start at 5:30 p.m., like music and events, and go until 7 p.m. But the lights get flipped on at 6:30. Is that right?
Yep, you got it. Yep, 6:30. Yep,
6:30. And you can there's lots of, you can be anywhere downtown because it's all going to be dark-ish. You'll have the building lights, of course, and things of that nature, but pretty much everything is dark. And then, or you can watch it at Oak Street Plaza. There's a big crowd there that kind of gathers. And then at 6:30, somebody flips the switch and they turn.
That's cool. People are cheering. That's a good time. Yeah. If anybody who's just moved here or never done it, you got to check it out for sure.
100%. It's family friendly. I mean, it's safe. Like it's worth exploring. So, okay. What else we got going?
All right. We're going to go through real quick. There's a nice little thing, Visit Fort Collins. If you go to the Visit Fort Collins website, they did a great little breakdown of 12 things to do in and around Fort Collins over Thanksgiving weekend. So we'll quickly go through this. One of the biggies for Thanksgiving, and if you talk to my dad, he's all about it. There are a number of restaurants that are open for Thanksgiving. Just a couple that they named here. Ginger and Baker is a big one. The Emporium at the Elizabeth Hotel is going to be doing a Thanksgiving dinner. It looks like they have it on November 25th from 2 to 8 p.m. is when they're doing theirs. Ginger and Baker does not give me a time, but you can probably call them. I know the Moot House was always going to stay.
We did one. I don't know. You're a member out there. We did one at the Country Club.
So the Fort Collins Country Club, I'm glad you brought that up. So they will do, they're doing a Thanksgiving dinner at the club for all those that are out there, but they also do to-go Thanksgiving meals. So if you put your order in ahead of time, you can go and pick it up on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
It didn't get me into the holiday spirits per se when we did one there. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago with my mom. But I mean, honestly, with how much prep work, and then cleaning of the dishes, all that kind of stuff, I don't blame my mom saying hey, I think maybe she wasn't feeling good or something that week. She goes, we're doing it at the Country Club. And I was like, okay. Yeah, the spirit wasn't there, getting drunk on a couch and watching football kind of, wasn't there. But the lack of dishes probably outweighed may have outweighed all of that.
My wife's going to be 8 months pregnant, so we're definitely bringing that baby back home. She ain't cooking this year.
Yes.
Just a couple other things for everybody to know. The Lincoln Center has got a couple shows going on this weekend, the weekend of Thanksgiving. They've got the, I'm going to butcher this. Oh my gosh. Well, you have to get the Lincoln Center on here to talk about this. Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express at the Lincoln Center. I've heard of it. I've never seen it. That is on Friday and Saturday. And then they also have Face Vocal Band Christmas Connection at the Lincoln Center on Friday the 26th. So a couple shows at the Lincoln Center.
Lincoln Center's starting to get some acts too. A buddy of mine's going to a comedian that's going to be performing there, and pretty big time comedian. I was like, wow.
I've always wondered if they're ever going to make it or expand it. I'll have to get you at Lincoln Center. All right, Patrick, a couple other things here, buddy. I forgot to mention this on our little pre-recording meeting, but there is all you train nerds out there, when I was a little kid, I loved trains. Rocky Mountain Train Show at the Ranch. So 41 years of history. The Rocky Mountain Train Show is one of, if not the oldest, train or hobby shows in the Rocky Mountain region. Come out, watch, participate as we continue to grow. This is on Saturday, November 27th and Sunday, November 28th. If your kids love trains, the ranch is where to go.
Well, I'm going to tag on to that, which is a little bit, part of trains. If you're a train nerd, we are going to go do the Polar Express in Golden, Colorado with the kiddos. And it is, I can't remember how much it was, but like it's relatively expensive. Our time slot, which is the only time slot that was available at that time, is like 8 or 8:30, meaning that we're not going to get done till like 9:30 or 10. So we're going to get a hotel down near Golden and stay the night, kind of make it an evening. But it's an hour and a half train ride with, music, events, food, hot chocolate. I mean, it's a big deal. And people wait until it goes live to book their time slot. And I had no idea, and neither did Janae. So we were kind of passive on it. And thank goodness we even got a time slot because they book up fast. So if you're—
Have you done this before?
What's that?
Have you done this before?
This is my first time.
You got to report back on our December episode. I have buddies that have done it, and it's like we haven't had kids yet, so it's a trip.
Yeah, we got 3, and like 2 of them are like Nola's going to be like 4.5, almost 5. Rocky's going to be 3, and they are all about holidays right now. So I'm pretty excited to see kind of their eyes light up. But anyways, cool. Continue forward with the Thanksgiving time. I'm glad you brought
that up because people should really look into that. It's like I think Santa's going to be there. It's a good time.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this one I've done. This is a great event in Fort Collins. Every Thanksgiving Day is their annual Thanksgiving Day run, which
formerly known as the Turkey Trot. And I'm guessing there was some type of trademark infringement that was going on there because they changed it to the Thanksgiving Day run.
I got to give so the Thanksgiving Day run a shout out to Ram Strength, an amazing organization. I actually, full disclosure, on the board, will be leaving the board at the end of this year to begin parenthood. A great organization that I've been happy to be a part of. But the Thanksgiving Day run benefits Ram Strength. For those of you that don't know what Ram Strength is, it's a local organization supporting cancer survivors, providing financial assistance for basic needs. It's a look into it. Ram Strength. Shout out to Becky and Michelle who run that, and it's a great organization.
Was that founded by Tim Ricketts? Or
the run? Yes, who passed away. I believe.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I see his brother every morning, Mike Ricketts, at Fort Collins Club. But I knew Tim. And I thought that's who kind of it started with. But
did a little. For the race a couple of years ago, they did a little like nod to him because I think he had just passed away.
Yeah.
But good nugget of information. All right. I'm going to end it here. One other fun thing I saw, the Clydesdales from Anheuser-Busch. So the shops at Foothills Mall on Saturday, November 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. You can get a free horse carriage ride. And these are free horse carriage ride after a day of shopping, the free gentle Clydesdale carriage rides, Foothills Mall. And it looks like it starts around the Cinemark. So if you want to take your kids on a little carriage ride with the Clydesdales, I thought that was cool.
That is cool.
And then lastly, a couple concerts over the weekend for Thanksgiving, if you want to check them out. One is at the Aggie Theater, Friday, November 26th. Gasoline Lollipops. I haven't heard of them, but I'm sure they're great. Shout out to the Gasoline Lollipops. But this one is for Patrick and I for a little bit older crew. But on Washington's, speaking of another good venue that's starting to have a lot of good acts, Washington's, Friday, November 26th and Saturday, November 27th. It's an evening with Big Head Todd and the Monsters. I mean,
I love it. I mean, I love it. Some names coming.
So that is so I'm going to leave you with, what is your typical tradition, Patrick, for Thanksgiving with the family?
I love it. Yeah. So for us, we do the formerly known Turkey Trot Thanksgiving Day 4-mile run.
That's right. 4-mile run
in the morning, which is always a coin flip. I will tell you, if you are considering doing this run, it is 100% a coin flip of you could have 50 degrees, 40 to 50 degrees, which is very comfortable considering you're just about to run
perfect
4 miles. Or you could have, as of last year, I did a video on this, 19 degrees, and you are considering what are you doing with your life. But regardless, it's what they call it, earn the turkey.
Yep.
So you do your 4-mile run, go home, get dressed, and then we usually go to some type of family gathering, and are pretty much post up there all day, eat food, watch some football. I feel like Detroit Lions are always on Thanksgiving, which
Lions, Cowboys. There's a few of them. Yeah.
And watch some Thanksgiving Day football. And that's pretty much it. But very family oriented. But we do always have the Thanksgiving Day run that we do, which is sometimes amazing and sometimes regrettable.
That's cool.
How about you?
We're pretty normal. You know, growing up as a kid, we'd either go down to my aunt and uncle's in Boulder, or they would come up to our house, my parents' house up here in Fort Collins. But you know, we were very classic. My mom would always, you know, bake a turkey, would have all the stuffing and the sides. And then we would watch football, and within the first quarter, my uncle and my dad would be sleeping. So, you know, and they weren't even big drinkers. Like they weren't even like passing out. They were just
food comas.
Food comas.
What's it called? Tryptophan or something like that?
Yeah, tryptophan. But like I think, you know, this year we're going to have family over to the house. Chelsea's not going to be cooking just with the baby and everything like that. But normally she loves doing Thanksgiving dinner. So no, we're traditional as well. We love hanging out with family, watching football. So very nothing too crazy.
Well, very cool. Well, if you guys ever have any questions about things to do or where to go, or kind of secret places, because that's like one of my favorite things about these Christmas lights is I've got a little secret balcony that I go up into and get the best view in the town. So, you know, never hesitate to reach out to Chris or myself, you know, happy to help. But appreciate you guys watching the Fort Collins Fellas.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week or in a couple weeks.